question? Brody question? Okay, let's pause on that and raise your hand if you have a comment after this first example, okay? If you have the number that's at the top of the fraction, that fraction or that number is going to get a house. Because it's on top of society, it's like living life large, it's a billionaire, it's getting all the cars, all the houses. This guy gets a really nice house because it's on the top. The bottom number doesn't get a house. Sad day for him. Once you've set it up correctly, here's the story. Since this has decimals, we gotta fix that. We don't like to divide with decimals. A decimal on the outside is going to do this. Let's say the decimal is my dog Sully. I used to have a dog. His name was Sully. He grew into like a gigantic horse of a dog. He weighed 180 pounds. He was a Great Pyrenees. He was more like a horse than a dog. Unfortunately, we had to get rid of him, but at this time, we had him like a year ago. He liked to annoy my cat. And Sully would come to the house. He was an outside dog. And he'd see the cat somewhere inside the house. Here's the cat. My cat's name is Milo. And so Sully would sprint as fast as he could to try to kind of annoy the cat, and he would hit the door of the house. It's like got a window on it. And so Sully would move all the way to the house, but he couldn't go in because he would take up like 200 square feet of a house, and our house is not big. So he'd hit the door. The cat, Milo, is pretty smart, and so when he sees this gigantic fur ball of a horse dog come at the house, he moves over just one space. Not more than that, just the same exact amount of spaces, and then he sneaks out the window and pops on top of the house on the roof just to kind of taunt Sully and be like, huh, you might be huge, but like I get to be in the house and I'm smarter than you. So you now have a division problem that looks like this. Rewrite it. 72 outside divided by 468. Inside, the decimal is at the end and at the top. That is your setup. Yeah, John.
Hendrix has something to say about that.
Yeah.
I actually have a cat named
Oh, cool. Yeah, my cat's pretty cool. My kids like me a lot. So 72 is on the outside. This means I'm asking myself, what is 468 divided by 72? Here's how we do that. I don't know my 76 memorized in my head. I can't do 72 or 72 times the number, so I have to guess and check. First, I start at the 4. Can I divide 4 by 72? No, 72 doesn't fit into 4. Can I divide 46 by 72? No, it doesn't fit in. What about 468? Sure, it's a bigger number. So let's start guessing and checking. What do I think 72 times something is to get close to 468? This is the part that's a little bit trickier if you aren't used to guessing and checking. You'll get better as you do it. Sunny, give me a number. Let's try 5. Any other number you want me to check? Colin, you're going to say 4? Yeah, both could work. Let's guess and check. 5 times 2 is 10. 7 times 5 is 35. Plus 1 is 36. This is 360. Is that close to 468? Kind of, but I bet we could get even closer. Instead of trying 4, Colin, what do you want to try? Let's try 6. Since 360 is less than 468, let's go 1 higher. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 7 is 42. Plus 1 is 43. That's pretty close, right? I can't really go any higher than that because 72 will go over it. So let's write that below and get our remainder. 6 worked. So 6 goes on top of what number? The 4, 6, or 8? Sunny? Above the 8 because you used all 468 to divide. You didn't just divide 46. Cool. Let's subtract it. Get the remainder. 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. 36 is the remainder that we have left. Next step. Since I don't have any other numbers here, I'm going to put a placeholder 0 to bring that down. Bring it all the way down to the 36, and you now have 360 divided by 72. Well, we already did that, huh? When we guessed and checked. What was that number? Whole class, it was 5. So write that above there. That's why we show our work when we guess and check. Are there any remainders left? That is your answer. 46.8 divided by 7.2 is 6.5. right now rate yourself dividing decimals. 1 is it's always been my arch nemesis, along with like dividing anything. I hate it and I'm not very good at it. 3 is I kind of get stuck on a few steps. 5 is I could do it pretty easily and get close to 9%. Just at your chest. You don't gotta brag. You don't gotta be sad if you're a 1. I want to see where we're at. Cool. Kai, I need to see a hand. Cool. Hendrix, I need to see a hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How comfortable are you? Okay, hands down. Number 2, 28.98 divided by 8.4 is the problem. What number goes in the house? Tatum. It's listed first, so it goes in the house. 8.4 goes outside the house. What do I do with my decimal, Brody? Start with the decimal on the outside. How many times? Okay, and what do I do with the decimal in the house? Brody, keep going. Yeah, it follows solely. The cat is pretty lazy. My cat doesn't like to move too much, but it will be smart. So he just moves the same exact amount spaces as the dog does. No more, no less. Jump up on the house. There's your new problem. Rewrite it. John, go ahead. Really? Maybe they're the same cat.
Wait, what color?
Did I steal your cat? It's like brown with stripes. It's a tabby cat. Here's orange cat. So it's not the same. It's like a, yeah, what was mine called? Not a tabby. There's another name for it. What's the other type of cat? Anyways, go. It does not always move one. Sometimes it'll move twice. You'll see, when we get to the example problems, you'll have one that doesn't move once. Sometimes it moves twice. Let's divide it. 2 divided by 84 doesn't work. You can't fit an 84 into a 2. 28 doesn't work. Can't fit 84 into 28. But 289 does work. Let's guess and check. 84 times what is close to 289? Baron, give me a guess. 4. Sure. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 8 is 32. Plus 1 is 33. Does that one fit? Nah. We got to go 1 less. Great try. Do you want to try 3 or 2, Baron? Let's go just to 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 8 is 24. Plus 1 is 25. Board of paper, make sure this is there, Brody. You got to have the guess and check work. This is how we divide. Okay? Write that down. So where do I put that number 3? Where does that go on my division, Sam? Above the 2, the 8, or the 9? It goes above the 9 because 289 was what we divided. I also forgot to do something with this setup. What did I forget that I did over here? I missed one step. The cat moved over, but then Sunny, what do I got to do next? Jump up to the roof. Yeah, so it's 3 point something. Cool. Subtract 252. 378 is my new number. What would that be? 84 times what? We guessed and checked with Colin. What number do you think would match it? Probably the 4, because 336 is pretty close to 378. Subtract 8 by 6, or 6 by 8, 3 by 7. You get 42. 42 is my remainder now, but there's nothing else to move down. What do I have to write, Colin? And bring it down. 420 divided by 84. If it's 252, stop. If it's 252 and 336 for 3, then 4, what should we try? 84 times... Sunny, what do you want to try? I think 5 would work. Let's see. 84 times 5. Does that work? 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 8 is 40. Plus 2 is 42. Yeah. Nothing left, so it should be a 5. 3.45. Circle it. I think last one, then I'll give you some time to practice this on your own. 8 divided by 0.5, set it up. 8 goes in the house. because it's listed first. 0.5 goes outside of the house. This time, something weird happens. So Soli wants to chase the cat, and it goes over, but the cat's kind of hiding. There's still a decimal there, but it's just not written. When you have the number 1, you could write 1.0 and it means the same thing. The number 5, 5.0 means the same thing. What could I add to the 8? 8.0 is the same exact thing as 8. So if you move the decimal on the outside, you have to move the decimal on the inside. Even if there isn't one, you have to include it. Milo goes over 1 and jumps on the house. Rewrite this thing as 80 divided by 5. Help me out, Jackson. First step is what? How many times would 5 go into 8? Let's just try the 8, because 5 does fit into 8. How many times? No, you're not. This tripped up the other period too. It goes in how many times, Jackson? It's 1 time. Bring down the 5. 30 divided by 5 is what? Brody? Okay. And is there any left over, Brody? No, so we don't actually have to bring down anything. 16 point something is the answer. If there's no number after the decimal, you don't have to include it. Just write 16. You could put 16.0, but that's kind of weird. Mathematicians don't normally do that. Just set this up. I'm not going to solve it, but I want you to see something. For example, 4, it's 40.8 divided by 2. For this problem, do I have to move the decimal on the outside? There's no decimal on the outside. So this does not need to move. You just solve it exactly as is. Don't solve this one. I want you to spend time on your independent work. Yeah, Colin. Okay.
Why would the decimal be like in front of the 8? Would it be in front of the 8 because you moved it over to the 5?
So I moved it to the right. It was 0.5, remember? So I moved it to the right once. So it turned into 5.0 or just 5.
So that's what it's going to be on the 8?
The 8 was 8.0. Yeah. So if you have a number that's a whole number, it's really 8 and then a decimal. If you have like a whole number 4, it's really 4.0. Same thing, but we don't normally write it like that unless you're dividing and you need to move a decimal. Okay, so always include a decimal on the inside if you need to move it. It just goes directly after the number. So 8 is 8.0. No, we're not going to finish example 4 because I want you onto this one. Grab a piece of scratch paper, set it up so that it looks like, maybe. Set up your paper that looks like that. Raise your hand if you need scratch paper. Line paper, if you don't have one, hands up and I'll give you this. You got 10 minutes. Cool. 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 Okay, we'll run out of room. Once you have your paper, look at the board and set it up so it says alphabet challenge with an A. The record for this morning's class was they had 12 minutes and somebody got to the 7th problem, which would have been, what is that? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They finished A through G. You have about 10 minutes and you are going to try to finish as much as possible. If you're a little bit lost, don't go fast at first. Just look at the board. I'm going to walk through the first 2 or 3 with you. But if you do feel confident, you can go as quickly as you can as long as you're not making a blunder. After each letter that you finish, look in the back, check the answer. Do not move on until your answer is correct. Yeah, of course. You have a page that looks like that. 9.8 divided by 0.2 is what you're starting with. 10 minutes. Go. 9.8 divided by 0.2. 9.8 goes inside the house, 0.2 outside the house.
You already have one.